Today in House Talk, I'm joined by Ron Phipps of Phipps Realty. We're going to discuss stigmatized properties and the spookiness that goes along with it. First off, why don't you tell us what exactly is a stigmatized property?
Stigmatized property is something that really is a property in which something happened that taints or creates a reputation for the property. So if there had been a murder or suicide, that might be stigmatizing. There's some other things that could happen. Some states actually require that the sellers and the brokers disclose what has happened in the property. And the real question is it a material fact? Rhode Island, the law says basically that that's not a material fact. That's really about the behavior of the people who live here. It's really not about the house. So in our state, it's
which is true. When you think about it, I mean, the people that live there don't really have anything to do with the structure of the house, right?
They don't, but for some people it may matter, okay? So it's a question. There are 2 states that have a requirement you tell. 8 states actually require that if the question's asked, you volunteer it. And since in Rhode Island it's not required at all, you really would have to do some other research. Our disclosures talk about material facts, and those are important. But if it's important to you, what you really should do is Google the address and ask around, see what's going on, because then you can find out. But know that it's not a requirement of state law to disclose that.
I mean, that does make sense to let the people know that they should do their research. I mean, if you were to buy a car, you do the research and get the entire history of the house. Why not do the same thing with the car, with the house, rather, right?
Exactly, but if it's not a material fact, it generally is not done. But I would, if it's important to you, I would definitely do a search, do the address search, and you might want to ask around the neighbors, just, anything unusual about the house, etc. You'll find all sorts of information that may be important to you.
Now, you said that it doesn't have to be disclosed from realtors here in Rhode Island, but what if the question is brought up? By law, do you have to answer that?
Many brokers would not know because it's not considered a material fact. And they would really recommend that you do independent research to find out. That's the goal. The cool thing about the web and tools like Google is you can find a lot of information that may not be otherwise known. The brokers are required to give you those disclosures. That is the extent of it.
Now, you were quoted in USA Today actually talking about this topic, right?
I was. There's a specific case that happened in Washington, D.C. where there were 3 murders that happened in 2 different occasions in the same property. Wow. That's intense. And frankly, that's a great example. If you put that address in, you would know what had happened there.
All right, so do your research, basically.
Do your homework. It's not a material fact, but if it's important to you, do your homework.
Thanks so much. That's for more information on stigmatized properties. Just head over to the website, foxprovidence.com.